Welcome to season 2 of the Bigger Than You podcast, your go-to weekly podcast that blends energetics and mindset to help you do whatever it takes to bring your vision to life, whilst having fun on the way. I'm Jenna Holloway, your host and multi-award-winning intuitive hypnotherapist and mindset coach. My purpose is to help mission-led business owners and visionaries who want to inspire change by leading the way in a space that otherwise may feel unnerving and too difficult. This is Bigger Than You. Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me again. And if you're a regular listener, then you've heard the interviews that I've done with some incredible guests on the show over the past few weeks. You will have hopefully been inspired. And this episode is going to be drawing on some of the themes that have come up in recent episodes. And I've coined this episode How to Feel Safe in Your Business, because having spoken to many entrepreneurs in the online space over the past year and the work that I've done with my own clients, this is what it comes down to. Because if you don't feel safe in your business, then you just cannot relax. It seeps into your personal life. You just cannot switch off. It's like having your own business is the biggest personal development journey. And I think most people don't realize that until they get started on it. And then they're a bit like, oh shit, here we go. Didn't realize all of this was going to come up. And it's because you are captaining your own ship. You're driving it forwards and everything comes down to you. You're not working for somebody. So therefore you don't have that safety of a salary, or wages at the end of the month. You just don't have that safety. And so that feeling safe in your business when you have a mortgage to pay or when you have a family to feed is the ultimate desire, I think, when we have our own business. So what does it look like when you don't feel safe? You may resonate with one or all of these pieces. If, for example, it's the lead up to Christmas and you cannot relax, you feel actually that Christmas is an inconvenience and everybody else is slowing down, but you don't want to slow down because it makes you anxious, the thought of sitting around having to look and be all relaxed around your family. When you don't feel safe, if you're not working, like that creates more stress and anxiety. And for people who I work with, Christmas is an anxious time. If we're at the beginning of our work or, they've talked to me about what it was like the previous year, then yeah, Christmas is an anxious time because you're supposed to be switching off and relaxing, but actually you can't switch off and relax if you feel unsafe in your business. And some of this might be about making you aware. You overthink things, you cannot relax. Let's say you've got a discovery call booked in the calendar, and then you have that discovery call and the person really is, they're really excited to work with you. And then you say goodbye, and then you're just in this like no man's land, waiting and really anxious and feeling uneasy. And your brain starts going off on one, thinking, oh, well, what if they were just trying to keep me sweet because they couldn't be honest and say, no, it's too much money or whatever. And your brain just spins you out with all of these thoughts and you just cannot relax until the contract is signed and the money is in the bank. Or you've got this obsessive desire to just work and work because you don't feel safe. And so the only way you can work towards feeling safe is by working. And so you've just got this obsessive need to just keep working, even if it makes you feel bad. If you've got kids and you really want to spend time with them, but you're driven by this unsafe feeling, it's making you work into the evenings instead of spending time with your kids. And then you feel guilty. And it's just this ongoing heavy energy in your life where you're just working too hard, you're not feeling safe, you're not feeling comfortable, and you cannot relax unless you've just signed a client or you have a certain amount of money in your bank, or, it's like everything is tied to the bank balance. And it's about money mindset, but maybe you don't realize that literally everything that is happening in your life comes down to this, because we manifest, right? Everything that is in our life is a reflection of our inner world. And so you might experience that you have clients that you've attracted where they have some work to do and you're like, that's interesting. I also have the same work to do. And it's just yeah, like life dramas or life experiences are all for a lesson to continuously evolve and keep growing. And so you can even end up manifesting dramas outside of your business as a form of self sabotage. Like, for example, running a masterclass, like setting a date for a masterclass and then getting ill. It's incredible what your brain does to block you. And it will block you in many ways if you believe on a subconscious level that success will bring more work. If you are physically working as hard as you possibly can and you don't feel that you can give any more and you feel like you're on the road to burnout, then your brain is going to block you from the potential of working more because you cannot work any harder as it is. And so the reason why you don't feel safe in your business is because you're not creating consistent sales. And the reason why you're not creating consistent sales is due to the limiting beliefs in the subconscious mind. And the two most common limiting beliefs that I work with time and time again, obviously, there are nuances and many, many offshoots of these two limiting beliefs, and many different ways it can show up and ways in which we do the inner work. But when it comes down to it, at the root of most limiting beliefs is the belief that success will mean something bad happening. And that might look like success equals an impact on your physical health, or success will impact your relationships, or success will impact your freedom. You know, all of these limiting beliefs come down to what you think success will bring on a subconscious level. And it is all down to the programming, whether that's programming that you've had from society, messages that you've had growing up from society. And it's so common because we grow up, most of us, going to traditional schools whereby it is drummed into us. You work hard, you will achieve, but you won't achieve unless you work hard. So we've got this program. Unless we've had the message from, I don't know, let's say you've got a parent like Richard Branson or like Lord Sugar, whereby, you know, you buck the trend. Most of us on some level have the programming that you have to work hard for what you want. And so this is what can end up making it so much harder, like literally feeling like you are carrying a sack of rocks up a hill with you. It's hard and it's heavy. It doesn't feel easy, and it doesn't have to be this way. Literally, your experience in life, in your business right now, is the result of the programming that you have on a subconscious level. So if you believe that it is extremely hard work to create seven figures or whatever, then that's what you're going to manifest. That will be your reality, whether you will be an overthinker or a procrastinator or a perfectionist or somebody who self sabotages left, right, and center. It's all down to the limiting beliefs on the underneath. So that's number one, the number one most common limiting belief: success equals something bad. And the second one is not feeling worthy. And this is tied to so much as well. It's tied to you not working with your ultimate dream client. Maybe your ultimate dream client is somebody who is, you know, a higher, really high level, top of their game, but you're working with newbies in the industry because you don't feel worthy of working with somebody who is more evolved. Or maybe you are overgiving, like overworking inside your program, giving far too much of your time, making your calls go on for far too long, to the detriment to others in the group. Maybe they've messaged you and just said, you know, I find the calls a little bit draining. They go on so long. Or the caliber of clients that you are calling in, they feel misaligned. They are not your dream clients at all. But at the root of it, if you are not calling in your dream clients, it's because underneath you don't feel worthy to. And I could go on for hours about the reasons, the things that show up for you in your business because you don't believe that you are worthy. Most of it comes down to money mindset. And if you've got money mindset work to do, often it's related to your limiting beliefs on success and not feeling worthy. Because if you did feel worthy, and if you did believe that success can be easy and joyful and give you so much freedom, then you would already be creating it. And it absolutely would change the game for you and your business. So let's imagine then next year, where do you want to be this time next year? Do you still want to be hustling? Do you still want to be feeling like you've sat at your desk for hours and hours and hours and not really got much done? Do you still want to be manifesting dramas left, right, and center? Do you still want to be worrying about whether you can afford to hire somebody and whether you can continue to pay their wages? And do you still want to be catastrophizing in your mind and lying awake at night thinking about all the things that you need to get done? Do you still want to be aware of the things and the ways in which you're self-sabotaging and just putting up with it? Because if you want to carry on putting up with it, then it's just not as easy as it could be. You literally can change the game when you do the inner work. It's like, imagine carrying that sack of rocks up the hill to your goals. You can get there, but it's going to be a lot less fun and a lot more hard work than if you reprogram those limiting beliefs and then like ran up the hill joyfully. It's how it can be. I know it's hard to really believe that it's possible for you to have success with ease and for it to feel joyful and relaxing and easy. Like, it's hard to believe that because you're only ever in your own head and you feel like it's possible for others, but you're not in their shoes. So this is, your life is your life and you've only got your own experiences. But if nothing changes, then nothing changes. And we are a product of our upbringing. And even if we had the most wonderful upbringing, there will be limiting beliefs in your subconscious mind because there can't not be. It's just the way it is. You grow up, you have experiences, you form beliefs based on those experiences. And most of us, on some level, unless we've done the inner work, believe that running your own business is hard work and it takes time and it takes hustle to create success. And most of us believe on some level that we are not worthy or not good enough on some level. So you might not even be aware of that, by the way. And if you haven't heard the episode, I don't know what episode it was on. And if I don't know, but if you haven't heard the episode recently where I spoke about my own inner work, when I didn't even realize I had this issue, like I came across some repressed trauma where I just didn't realize that I was working. I had trauma drive basically, where I was just a serial high achiever, working, creating a lot of success, but with this obsessive, underneath it all was this obsessive desire to keep working and keep achieving and not being able to stop and celebrate myself. And just, this constant need to achieve. I didn't realize that underneath it all was because I didn't believe that I was good enough exactly as I am. I didn't believe that I was worthy unless I was achieving. And this, amongst your type A high achieving entrepreneurs, this is far more common than people realize. And I am evidence of that. I didn't even know I had it until I did my own inner work. And I was flawed. I was absolutely flawed. But this is the thing, you don't know what's in your subconscious mind because it's subconscious. And so I am talking from experience, going from that place where I was working, and basically addicted to work to the place now where I can be completely okay with what gets done at the end of the day, knowing that there's so much more to success than the do. It's the intangibles. And the energy underneath your actions is what matters. And so you've heard me talk, hopefully, maybe not, I don't know. But so much of how I run my business is creativity and flow and freedom and joy comes first. So I always put myself first. I'm committed to that so that my energy is good. And so that I don't have any resentment in my life. I'm not leaking energy all over the place. And this is coming, like I walk my talk. Everything I do is what I teach my clients in the Ultimate Freedom Framework. That's the process that I take my clients through. It's not just about subconscious reprogramming, it's about bringing freedom, joy, and flow into your business so that you can tap in to those intangible universal laws that mean that you can create incredible results very, very quickly, because it's not down to, there's so much more than what we can actually see and consciously understand, so much more. And when we get out of our own head and we do the limiting belief work so that we can tap into our intuition and run our business with that support from the energy of the universe, then we can create incredible results incredibly quickly. But it's not even just about the results, it's about your life and your enjoyment. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? I imagine it's to do with creating freedom, like financial freedom or time freedom or your sense of purpose. If you're not feeling safe in your business, then that's ultimately what it comes down to. Create that safety, and you'll be able to enjoy the journey so much more. Because if you don't do that inner work and you're obsessively working towards that big goal, when you get there, when you get that big goal, it's not going to feel any different. And then you'll be on to the next thing and the next thing. And ultimately, we all need to do our own healing. It's not a do once thing, it's not like, for example, you get your logo done and your branding done, and it's done then. Beautiful, wonderful, done for 10 years until you want a rebrand or whatever. The inner work is a constant thing. And most of the time, well, in fact, all of the time when clients come to me, there's a lot that needs doing early on to get the hard, heavy stuff out of the way, to create that safety, create that feeling that they can relax and allow stuff to work on an attraction basis, become magnetic, sort out that uneasy energy that they are putting out with all their nonverbal communication, that piece of I'm not worthy, I don't really believe in myself, and all of that nonverbal communication that's going on to out into the ether. Sort that out, and then it's a game changer. And then it's about maintenance. We're never ever fully evolved. I said this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, like, if we're not evolving, we're dead. And so it's this constant commitment. And me too, like I say, I'm very committed to walking my talk so that I am the role model for my clients. And I've said it once and I've said it again, like, everybody listening to me, everybody who follows me on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, wherever you find me, I see you as my client. Whether you are paying me or not, I see you as my client because you can learn from me. And so I put myself forward as I am this role model, and I'm constantly walking my own talk because that is in integrity. So it's not a do it once thing and then it's done. It's a constant thing. You'll never have finished the inner work, but the first part of the inner work is where you see the massive results, because you get rid of the shitty stories that are buried deep down in the subconscious mind, that you're not worthy of creating 6 or 7 figures, or you cannot hold money. Like, yeah, you can make money, but you cannot hold it. And what I'm talking about here is an upper limit, a bandwidth. We all have a financial bandwidth, which means that we're only available for making and holding the money in that bandwidth. And anything above and beyond that, subconsciously and in your body, you do not feel safe. And so this is why, unless we do the inner work to shift those upper limits up, we hit the income ceiling and we stay there, because it's not safe in our bodies to earn and hold more than that. Same thing with clients. If you've got a limiting belief that you can only hold a maximum of 5 people in your group container because you'll be drained, or the vibe in the group won't be good, or it won't be intimate, or whatever stories you're telling yourself, you're subconsciously going to block, because you've reached an upper limit for your capacity to hold more than that. So this bandwidth issue that I'm talking about, this upper limit, subconscious upper limits that we have, they are in relation to a number of clients. They're in relation to, like, your finance situation. And this, by the way, is why 70% of lottery earners go broke, because they didn't feel safe holding that amount of money in their bodies subconsciously. their financial bandwidth was way, way below a jackpot win. And so that's why statistically they won't hold on to it unless they do the inner work to reprogram it to feel safe in their bodies to hold that amount of money. Okay, so essentially, we can only feel safe when we are in a bandwidth that we are comfortable in. And if we're outside of that, then, we're going to stop ourselves. Basically, you've got this upper limit. Okay, so another upper limit we can talk about is happiness. Okay, and this is where the success thing comes in. If you believe subconsciously that success means something bad is going to happen, then you've got that upper limit and you're not going to be able to go beyond it. And so upper limits, essentially, the only way to break through them is to subconsciously reprogram so that it feels safe in your body and in your nervous system to hold more. Okay, because you can make more, but if you don't feel safe to hold that sustainably, you're not going to sustainably stay there and you will bounce back. And so this is why the inner work is so important. I honestly believe that if you saw inner work as a key strategy in your business, your 2023 would look very different. And I've heard it many times now with really successful entrepreneurs. I've brought them onto the podcast. You've heard them say it for yourself. They put the inner work off too long. And they could have created success so much more easily if they had done the inner work first. So if you recognize some of the issues that I've talked about today, and you recognize that there are stories coming up for you that is related to subconscious reprogramming, then get it on your priority list for 2023. Don't try and build your business from a hustle energy, from a not feeling safe energy, because you will not create that feeling of safety just by working. It will stay there and it will stay there and it will stay there. And you won't be able to fully relax if your sense of worth and if you cannot create inner safety that isn't tied to the bank balance, then 2023 will not be as easy for you. So if you recognize that you want to work through the upper limits that you have or the limiting beliefs, whether you know what they are or not, that it doesn't matter. It's not your job to know. I can literally listen to people talking and see the limiting belief. It's a talent that I have honed, and it brings me so much joy to unlock success with ease for people. And so what I would love to say to you is know that it can be different, and it's down to you to choose that it can be different. And so just zoom out for a second and just imagine this time next year what you can create if everything suddenly became easy, if you had clarity, if you were able to listen to your intuition and follow it fearlessly, if you were able to not do busy work anymore, if you were able to set clear targets and just get to work and just be so productive and have a lot of time for yourself to enjoy your life too and get the best from your relationships and your connections and just feel like you are living your best life and feeling proud too, like stopping and being able to celebrate what you have created and what you have achieved. If that feels like some place that you want to get to, then how are you going to get there is the inner work. If you would like to discuss more of what this inner work looks like and have a chat about how that would look for you, then send me a message. I look forward to hearing from you. On that note, I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Bigger Than You podcast with your host, Jenna Holloway. If this episode has been valuable to you, please share it with a friend or leave a review.